Yeah, you're going to get no defense of Maoism as politics from me. But I will say that I'm a little bit concerned by the trajectory of the discussion. The logic of what we're talking about, if Vietnam is not a successful anti-war movement in terms of, one, getting the United States out of Vietnam and allowing Vietnamese people.
I said it was a partial success.
I wasn't responding just to you, but yeah, I agree with you more. In terms of getting the United States to pull out of Vietnam, and the Vietnamese have been fighting for decades, first against the French and the United States, and finally were able to win, and heroically fighting against the United States, regardless of what I think about the politics of the government that came out of Vietnam, out of the Vietnam War. Fought for independence and won, forced the United States to not be able to directly intervene. For example, again, it's lost one of its main pillars of support in the Middle East in terms of Iran in 1979. Again, separate from the question of what I think about the regime in Iran. And has forced the United States until September 11th, 2001, to be on the sidelines more than it wanted to be as a major imperial power. And I think that's a successful anti-war movement. And I think that the logic of that, in terms of that it didn't create socialism or didn't create, the goal that I have, and certainly in terms of being an activist, which is to create a society run by the vast majority of people in the interest of the vast majority, I don't think that that's a fair measuring stick. And then we're going to end up having difficulty organizing any struggle against injustice if that's our measuring stick. If you go to the Civil War, which ends slavery, you have a period of Reconstruction, which is then defeated after a compromise between the northern industrialists and the southern plantation owners, and you have a period of Jim Crow and racist terror. Does that mean the fight against slavery was not an emancipatory enough project because you have Jim Crow after it? Certainly you want to continue the struggle, fight against Jim Crow and racism, fight for the civil rights movement, but I think that I'm just concerned that the recipe of measuring everything against that kind of success in terms of struggle ends up meaning that we'll be incredibly passive and not participants in rebuilding struggle and mass movements and for justice.